We're running all right. It means more than you know. It means more than you can imagine. I needed you here today. I needed your prayers. I needed your support. I needed your friendship. I needed your smiles. This is heavy. This is important. I am reminded of that first revolution, how important it was, because it didn't just change the leading cast of characters, it changed everything. For the first time in man's relationship to man and his government, for that very first time, we didn't just remove a king and replace him with another king. We removed the king and replaced him with the will of the people. That revolution brought us the consent of the governed. We are the people now. They must listen to us. That is truly revolutionary. And it's that idea, it's that concept that we stand to defend today. Because all across this country, when that revolution took place, lamps were lit in the hearts of men and women, in the hearts of free men and women, and the whole world witnessed liberty. They looked from afar and they traveled to these shores with new dreams. My Irish ancestors, my Scottish ancestors, they came here with an idea that was bigger than self. It was about liberty. It was about freedom. And we fight for that today. But ladies and gentlemen, the lamps of liberty are going out across this republic. The republic is in trouble. You sense it. You recognize this dire need that we have to turn things around. Millions of people feel like strangers in their land. You don't recognize your country. An old America is fading away, a new America rising to take its place. The traditions and the morals that we find important, they don't find important. And so we recoil. If you think otherwise, try to raise a 6-year-old son and find something worth watching on TV. If you think otherwise, try to raise a 2-year-old and find something on the radio worth listening to. We are fighting for the culture. But because of this great movement where our traditions have been pushed aside, it's created uncertainty, not just morally, but all across this society. Economically speaking, we're uncertain. We're scared. Constitutionally speaking, it appears we don't recognize that fine document. Even our role in this government is being challenged. And ladies and gentlemen, things must change. I do not mean to overstate this, but I want to be perfectly clear. We are engaged in a battle between two opposing visions of America's future. Someone will win. And so we stand here today to make a very public choice and to ask you to join me in choosing to become more, to be better, to be what this country was always intended to be, a beacon of liberty. Now is the time. This is not a race or a campaign or even a movement that will be controlled by Washington insiders. This is not a movement that will be controlled by powerful Washington, D.C. lobbyists. This is a movement for the people, by the people. Specifically, Mississippians. Because you see, I believe that Mississippi's culture and its character and its conservatism can restore this republic. I believe that, or I wouldn't stand here today. And so I stand here today with you, with a silent majority of Americans that believe we can retake this country, that still believe in liberty. Parents and teachers, farmers, factory workers, and all across this great state, business owners, police officers. These are the uncommon men and women that make our society work. Recognize this: the greatness of American society comes from its people, not the marbled halls of Congress. And so with your help today, we take that first great step forward. The Constitution must be restored. It is no accident that we find ourselves in the problems that we have today because our politicians, our leaders, have shunned that document. They have ignored that document. It takes defending. Liberty is too important to let go. And that Constitution is the pathway. We will not compromise on the United States Constitution. The national debt is the greatest moral crisis of this generation. You do recognize that there's no national security interest more compelling, no interest that outlies the future of this country more compelling than that of the national debt. So let's go forth from this place making it perfectly clear that the era of big spending is over. The age of appropriations must end. My children deserve nothing less. They deserve nothing less. Now, last night, your House and your Senate reached a compromise. It's interesting that every compromise conservatives reach, the liberals always win. That's not compromise, that's called surrender. Politicians in Washington since 1962 have increased the debt limit 77 times. Is that our idea of compromise? 77 times they've increased it. Each time, a few years later, they set it arbitrarily, they increase it again, they come back and tell us how conservative they are and that they care about the future. Well, last night, 18 senators voted not to enter into that bad deal. Where were our senators? Senator Cochran, I respect him. I grew up admiring him. You cannot be a Mississippian and be a young person like me and not look at a man and in some respects want to emulate him. He's all I've ever known. He's been up there as long as I've been alive, and that is a considerable length of time. But last night he owed it to us to stand his ground. More importantly, he owed it to us, with all due respect, to stand the ground for my children. I've got 17 trillion reasons not to compromise. Obamacare. Probably one of the worst pieces of legislation in the history of this country. You recognize that, do you not? They call Obamacare the Affordable Care Act, but it's neither affordable nor caring. It is a job destroyer. It is a liberty destroyer. It has to be killed, period. It is our responsibility to finally put a stake through the heart of that program and end it. No more parliamentary tricks. No more press releases. No more late night votes. Just fight. Defend it. When Mike Lee and Ted Cruz stood there 2 weeks ago fighting to defund Obamacare, they should never have to stand by themselves. And it's regrettable that they did. What else do we want? We want to reclaim our government. They're not listening. They're not paying attention. We have a responsibility to reclaim that government once and for all. Let the storms blow. Let the people be heard. We are better than this. It is not becoming of Mississippi's character to beg for scraps from a government 1,000 miles away. Let us keep our money. Let us defend our way of life. Change will only come. Change will only come when we begin to elect strong conservatives like these here behind me. This wave is just beginning. This wave is just beginning. Change will only come when you elect men and women who promise to divest themselves of the authority they've been given. That is, to give the power back to the people, back to the states where it properly belongs. Now, with that said, let's be clear about something. We are not here simply to streamline government. We're here to reduce its size. We are not here to promote government welfare programs because we aim to extend the liberty. We do not fight to pass new laws. Our fight is to repeal existing laws. And we are not here to implement new programs. Indeed, we are here to get rid of the programs that do violence to our Constitution. You see, there is a difference between the people in Washington and us. They believe the country owes them something. There is a difference between us and them. They think we exist to provide them with privilege. They think we exist to provide them with wealth. The problem with that is we think they should exist to defend our God-given rights. And that is why today I'm announcing my candidacy. For United States Senate. Y'all know I'm not quite done. You want to get them? You tell them to turn it off. Hey, I'm not done. I'm not done. You see? But hey, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Okay, look. You can play Scotland the Brave anytime you wish. But there's a lawyer and a statesman up here speaking. I thought it was beautiful, didn't you? Look. I promise I'm wrapping up, okay? I promise. Listen. I've been told that this run is going to destroy my political future. I've been told that the powers that be are going to come after me with everything they've got. Hey, take names when they come. Take names. Take names. Because they're not after me, they're after the people. I promise you this, the idea that I will let a spirit of fear keep me from this race is absurd. There aren't enough lobbyists in the entire capital of Washington, D.C. to stop this. My sons deserve it. My sons deserve it. And I want to tell you guys something. I will not tell my boys one day about a once proud republic that we were unable to save. I will not tell them that story many years from now. Indeed, I will not tell them that at a time of crisis, their daddy didn't stand. This is our fight, this generation's fight, to restore the Constitution, to eliminate the national debt, to eliminate Obamacare. This is our fight, and we are going to fight. With apologies to one of my early heroes, Winston Churchill, we shall go on to the end. We shall fight in academia. We'll fight in the classrooms and the newspapers. We'll fight with growing confidence in the natural rights of mankind. We'll fight in the marbled halls of Congress. We'll fight in the state capitals. We'll fight in the cities. We'll fight in the streets. We'll fight on the countrysides. And if for a moment, which I do not believe, that this country or its liberty were somehow subjugated, I would expect a new generation of Americans to stand with the Constitution as their guide and reclaim what's rightfully theirs. This is our fight, if necessary for years, if necessary alone. In closing, we dare not forget today that we are the rightful heirs of that first American Revolution. With that in mind, let the word go forth from this time and place that a new era is dawning. It's time to pass the torch of liberty to a new generation of Mississippians. A generation shocked by a culture in decline. A generation tempered by endless wars. A generation disciplined by unsustainable federal debt, but proud of our heritage and unwilling to compromise or allow to be eroded that Constitution to which we have always been committed. It is our responsibility to ensure the survival of liberty, and we will. This much we pledge, and more. In the long history of mankind, only a few generations have ever been granted the role of defending liberty in its hour of need. That begins today, right here in Ellisville. We Mississippians are strong in ways that cannot be measured by arsenals. We are unique, our culture is unique, and we are proud to say we are good people. People of common sense, men and women of the soil whose virtues arise from the simplicity of life. In other words, we're exactly the kind of people that central planners hate. We are, every one of us, lovers of ordered liberty. We're a stubborn and proud people, are we not? Men and women of character. I so wish my dad could be here today. Men and women of character. I do not believe any one of us would exchange places with any other generation. This is our fight. This is our time. And the energy and the faith and the devotion that we display here will resonate across this country, across this state, and we will restore this republic. So let's stand. Let's lead. Let's make Washington hear us all the way from Ellisville, Mississippi. And so I ask for your prayers and your guidance, your friendship, your support. With a good fight, our only sure reward, with history, the final judge of our deeds, let us go forth to save the republic and the state we love so much. Thank you, and God bless.